Appearances by several top artists from around the world, including the Maverick himself, Tom Cruise, who was in the stadium. Amazing sights, amazing sounds. Great end to the 33rd Olympiad. J. Hugh Gordon, Chris Taylor, Alan Roberts joining me on set. Chris, first and foremost, I think it's not about how you begin, but it's the ending that counts.
Well, the end was better than the finish. But yeah, no surprise, and we know that the United States, they like to do it big. It's going to LA after this, so getting those US stars involved. Tom Cruise doing the Mission Impossible, you know, leaping off. Lovely end. Beautiful, beautiful city, beautiful country, as France has always been. If it's one thing about them, they have always made sure that their beauty shots are right, their monuments are in place. You get them as a backdrop. The City of Lights led up, kept up to its true name, its true potential. So yeah, lovely end in the end, and the transition to LA was magnificent as well. Obviously, that a lot of hours went into that in terms of how it was filmed, how it was orchestrated, how it was directed, and great to see some of the actors and entertainers that we've grown up on over the years take a big part. Well,
someone who has been entertaining us all and joining us from Paris almost every single day, Donald Oliver, is with us from the stadium. Don, thank you very much for your great work over the last few weeks. And tell us, what was your experience like at the closing ceremony?
Chris kind of summed it up and nailed it, I figured. Tom Cruise stole the show. You see it in movies and you're like, okay, TV lie. But the fact that you saw him at the top, right on the roof of the Stade de France, and him just jumping off into the stadium, that was surreal. I think that kind of capped off the Paris Olympic Games. Obviously, the ending much better than the beginning and the opening ceremony. Logistically, it would have been difficult. We saw the boats on the Seine during the opening ceremony, but as far as the closing ceremony is concerned, tighter, more action-packed for most of the evening. But yes, with the Hollywood bang to close it off, really wonderful transition to LA for 2028.
What was the feeling like in the stadium, Don, from entrance, when you entered into the stadium, to now you're almost to the end of it with the patrons leaving the stands?
I tell you what, it was a little bit low-key this evening. And I'm not sure why, because usually in the past, during the track and field events, there was a lot of hype, there was a lot of excitement, there was a lot of build-up. But for the ending of it, there was a little bit of a low-key vibe. And even at the very end, when it was said that the games are finished and we're heading out to LA, you could hear groans from the stands. So you knew that the French people loved hosting these Olympic Games and didn't necessarily want it to end. The French people that were in the stadium, I should say. So maybe they were a little bit disappointed that it came to an end and the experience has come to a close. But I think throughout, they really enjoyed the experience of these Olympic Games.
Yeah, Don, tell us now about your experience covering the Games and interviewing some of the great athletes of the World Games this year. You went viral on some of them as well. Tell us about that.
Not my intention at all to go viral in anything. But I tell you what, it was interesting. It was my first Olympic Games, of course. So I'm not sure how to compare it, obviously, with other international assignments. I felt that there were some issues in regards to logistics and transportation. We saw the issue with Shelley Fraser-Price and Sha'Carri Richardson in terms of communication and them not being able to go into the warm-up area. Us journalists went through that almost every day in terms of rule changes and certain things not being communicated to us. So based on logistics, obviously, it could have been better in terms of communication. As far as the athletes were concerned, they would be a little bit disappointed. Some of them would be disappointed with what took place with their own performances. But of course, you know, the standout athletes from these games from a Caribbean perspective, Julian Alfred of St. Lucia, Thea Lafond of Dominica, and of course, Roche Stoner of Jamaica. Those were the standout performers, and I tell you what, they flew the flags, their respective flags high during these games. And it was just a privilege just telling these stories. There was the disappointment of a number of Jamaican athletes just pulling out left, right, and center. Gardner of the Bahamas, of course, also pulled out and didn't defend his title. And other minor disappointments in terms of injuries and expectations that certain athletes just didn't live up to the task. But all in all, it was fairly good. It was a fairly good experience.
Yeah, Don, it's nice to see the smile on your face after those many challenges. I had no clue that journalists had to go through those challenges. I'll tell you what, you all handled it superbly. But tell us as well, Don, yes, you mentioned, you told the stories of the Caribbean athletes, but what was the vibe in some of their camps when they realized, hey, we're on the medal podium, representing the Caribbean with pride?
Well, we only could get a sense of their reactions through their own social media because, again, because of the type of security that was put in place, there wasn't a lot of mingling between media and athletes. So we didn't necessarily have first-hand experience with them at the time. After the fact, yes, we would meet up with a few of them. They would share their stories, their excitement, their medals. But as far as in the moment, we couldn't quite capture their reaction, which was a little bit disappointing. But again, I suppose because of security reasons, because of the fact that these were the games that were opened up in the aftermath of what took place in Tokyo, where we were locked down and there wasn't crowd and there wasn't a lot of mingling. Probably the games just trying to get things together again, and maybe Los Angeles in 4 years' time will be a little better.
Donald, we spoke about the challenges. We know about the challenges there in Paris and the issues that have been had. But what was the feeling in the stadium tonight from, let us say, the visitors? You spoke about the hosts, the French being there and not wanting everyone to leave. But what was the representation like from the athletes or the visitors as well when it was coming to a close? Was it that, okay, finally it's over, we can get out of here? Or was it a bit sad that everything had come to an end and the feeling that it was a great experience?
So a couple of things happened, Chris. And I'm not sure if you actually saw it in television land, right? There was a part of the closing ceremony where the athletes actually rushed the stage. That wasn't supposed to happen. They weren't supposed to go on the stage, and they were being told to come off the stage. And logistically, it would have been a nightmare for a director. Amor Williams, I think, is directing now, so he would know that there were certain shots that weren't taken, and there were certain shaky moments that shouldn't have been on air. And it was a little bit chaotic for about 5 to 7 minutes. The athletes were really excited during the closing ceremony. They took to the concert that was taking place. So as far as the international vibe, it was really there because they wanted to leave on a high. They wanted to leave with a bang. So that was the feeling that we got from the side, but it did cause a little bit of chaos, we must admit.
Don, following the arson attacks just before the opening ceremony, we all knew that the security measures would have been increased, blanketed, if I were to say. Was it that the case?
Yeah, to annoyance of many involved.
I can imagine.
At a time, I tell you what, we saw security forces everywhere. We felt intimidated but safe, knowing that nothing couldn't have been tried in that particular environment, but that environment was a little bit off. You know, I'm not used to that. Not even in Jamaica, I don't see a lot of police and soldiers on the road. So it was a little getting used to, but they took it really seriously. As far as I heard, there was no security threat or anything untoward towards athletes and to members of the media. So if that's what they wanted, thumbs up to them.
In terms of the ambience now, Donna, let's take it more from an artistic standpoint, which I know you love as well. In terms of the ambience, the monuments, how the French designed their settings for their events. Tell me what the feeling was like with that. What was the infrastructure like, the stadiums to accommodate the athletes in the different disciplines? What was that side of it like, the design and architecture of it all?
I thought it was beautiful. I thought it was magnificently done. The beach volleyball and the Eiffel Tower as a backdrop to it. There were so many other places that were branded with Paris 2024, even if they weren't hosting events. The Louvre was one particular venue that was just branded by Paris 2024. And there was obviously some thought for Paris 2024 to be decorated with the monuments, with the locations. And you could, as I said, you could see thought being put into it, see it in the camera shot, see it in the aerials that we did see. And even here at the Stade de France, it's just a magnificent structure that they transformed for the rugby initially, then for the track and field, and of course for the magnificent closing ceremony that you would have just seen. So as far as the arts and the French concerned, mixed in with sports, glorious.
Don, from a personal side, would you say that you have ticked something off your bucket list? Can you say that from a journalist perspective as well, that you've been there and done it?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'd like to do it again. Not in the same way, not in the same experience. It was ridiculously hard work. I haven't been able to go to places where I wanted to go. I do have one additional day. I may take that day to sleep. I'm not sure as yet, depending, because it is after 12 o'clock. It is after midnight, thanks to you guys. So I'm not sure if I'll be able to get enough sleep tonight. Maybe I'll stay in bed, I'm not sure. But as far as the concern, as far as, maybe I'll be able to sleep on the plane. But as far as just being here and being a part of the experience of these Olympic Games, really a memory that will not be erased anytime soon.
Don, tell us before we go to our break, what would be your highest point for the Games and also your lowest point for the Games?
Wow. I think the highest point would be the individual medals that we actually got. One from the track with Julian Alfred winning the 100 meters. The surprise gold from Roger Stone in the discus. And of course, Miss Lafond and what she did in the triple jump. Of course, a lot was expected from her with what she did in the indoors early in the year. But the fact that the likes of Dominic and St. Lucia came to the forefront and they were worshipped by the rest of the world was a big thing for me. As I mentioned before, in terms of the low point, just the logistics and idiosyncrasies that we faced every day. It wasn't smooth sailing, but, you know, human beings did put it together. You know, we are imperfect, so we can't criticize too much. We hope that we can learn from certain experiences. But yeah, it would have been stuff off the field outside of the action which involved the athletes, really. Oh, and of course, the fact that a number of athletes would have pulled out because of injury really put a damper on the games from a Caribbean and specifically a Jamaican perspective.
Don, I want to thank you very much for linking up with us. It has been a real pleasure chatting with you, getting your perspective, especially from the side of the closing ceremony. We all here want to extend our gratitude to you and the team in Paris. You did fantastic service to the people of the Caribbean and by extension the world. Any closing comments before we move on to our break?
Yeah, SportsMax is the best team in the world. I've said it before that SportsMax has the best commentary team. As far as track and field is concerned, just wonderfully done. And of course, the group of guys in the studio now, I mean, I couldn't have handpicked a better group myself. But as far as the chemistry that we saw, we enjoyed the shows, staying up late in the night to actually watch We Paris Prime. Absolutely magnificent. And I'm so proud of our efforts as a collective. So thank you guys for just raising the standard and keeping it high. Our interns that have been absolutely brilliant. I know that they have done so much over the last few weeks. I hope that we see them in the next couple of days when we return to Kingston, Jamaica.
Don, thank you very much. We appreciate your hard work once more, and safe journeys to your next destination. That was Don Oliver chatting with us from Paris, the closing ceremony, folks, giving us his insights into the last few days, the last few weeks that he spent covering all the Caribbean athletes and the various events across the 33rd Olympiad in Paris 2024. We take a short break and return with more on We Paddy Prime. Stay with us.
Courage, our hearts beat. De chaque nation, nous venons pour rivaliser. Avec passion et courage, nos cœurs sont élevés. In the arena, we give our all. With grace and honor, we stand tall. Dans l'arène, nous donnons tout. Avec grâce et honneur, nous restons.
Sponsorship of this broadcast brought to you by
In a world where our dreams sometimes seem so far away, Digicel is the partner that brings us all together. Stay connected this summer at home or on the go with Digicel Plus Home Fiber or a Prime Broader plan. Enjoy premium access to the action anywhere you're there. One side, one Digicel, one Jamaica. Digicel, better connected.
Be terrified by the line that went on forever, where one man is trapped in a never-ending car insurance payment line.
Wow, that sounds like a nightmare.
Right?
So why not skip the horror story and choose BCIC for all your car insurance needs?
You can go online and get a quote in less than 5 minutes. Or you can buy a policy in less than 10 minutes.
Plus payment options and so much more designed especially for you. BCIC, rethink insurance.
It's the Paris Games, darling. Everything needs to be perfect. Sneakers and spikes?
Check.
Her looks?
Check.
Okay, team. Seems like we pulled this off in record time. So, I just want to know, where's the water? Thanks, but I mean the cases of water. So she can stay hydrated for the games? Where's the water?
I didn't think she was taking water with her to Paris.
Hey, Jacko!
The water team send the cases ahead, so if you're good, then I'm officially ready for Paris.
Track and field, swimming, or any sport. Place your bets on the 2024 Olympics and more at betcagesports.com and enjoy the payouts. Now available on Barbados, St. Lucia, and Antigua Barbuda.
We a bucket together when everybody out. Fried chicken we a pre-bucket for the crew. Share a bucket together, everybody go live. Spicy original when we online. Bucket together to the new dance craze. Taste explosion bursting with flame. When we a bucket together, it put you in a good mood. Every moment to share is finger licking good. Bucket together, come make we bucket together. Bucket together, bucket together.
excited for date night tonight? I'm seeing you at 5, right?
Of course, babe. I'll see you at 5.
Sponsorship of this broadcast brought to you by
Welcome back to 8 Party Prime. We continue to assess the Caribbean's performance at the just concluded Olympic Games. And the first topic of discussion, the young lady on your screen created history for St. Lucia and the Caribbean as well. The baton passed from Jamaica to St. Lucia. Julian Alfred from St. Lucia. The Piton stands tall together with Alfred, and the people of St. Lucia went into pandemonium when she crossed the finish line in Paris 2024 as the new 100-meter gold medalist for women. For me, the highest point gentleman in the Olympic Games from a Caribbean perspective, seeing this young lady bypass the favorite, what some may say the favorite in that individual event. But J. Hugh Gordon, tell us your opinion and your assessment of Julian Alfred's performance. Firstly, a gold medal, then the silver.
Yeah, definitely the ceiling on the cake for Julian. We know that she's missed the podium on a couple occasions at the World Championships, her first Olympic Games here, the first of a kind for St. Lucia. We are seeing a bit of a changing of the guards here now with some of the older athletes now creeping their way out. I wouldn't count Shericka Jackson out of the way as yet. She is there. She will be tussling for the baton with Julian Alfred, but it will add to great rivalry and camaraderie amongst our Caribbean counterparts.
They also drive their performances, individual performances, to surpass all expectations. Anna Roberts has grown the name on the show. Done by me, the lovable lunatic. I'll take my credit for that. Afterwards, he'll go back to being Anna Roberts. But give us a big smile, Mr. Roberts. You've been trending for so long over the last few days, especially with your comments concerning Noah Lyles. But firstly, let's talk about Julian Alfred.
You take credit for that in Trinidad and Tobago. You can't get no US. The credit card gone down. But anyway,
Julian Alfred.
Julian Alfred. That, as you could see the backdrop in SportsMax, like somebody in SportsMax knew that the color of the Olympics will be light blue, sky blue, St. Lucia blue. Julian Alfred epitomizes all that we want to be, all that we dream to be. She knew that she had a chance. She focused, her coach focused, her team focused. She came prepared. She performed to the hilt, and she took a gold medal for making history, putting her name in the annals of history for a lifetime. She did it with consummate ease and brilliance. Her technique can be studied from young athletes across the Caribbean. She celebrated, and her country celebrated with her. She then went on a couple days later, to take a silver medal in the 200 meters, which I, as a coach, love even more than the gold medal, because it showed her character, her class, her love of country, her passion. She put her blood, sweat, and tears on that track. And Paris Olympics is the Olympics of Julian Alfred and St. Lucia.
Yeah, brilliant points indeed. Well said by Anil Roberts, and he continues to support Julian Alfred, and we all continue to support her. She needs all the support she can get, and I remember from our discussion with the Prime Minister of St. Lucia, he said hopefully they can put together a racing track and it will be named after Julian Alfred, similar to their other hero, their other sporting hero, Darren Sammy, in the realm of cricket. Several other great performances we had in the Olympics, Chris, from a Jamaican perspective. Roger Stoner.
Yeah, magnificent. Nobody saw that coming, Roger Stoner. Probably would have been the third favourite out of the Jamaicans to get on the medal podium, but to throw 70 metres, amazing. I loved his humility after he did it. He kept his composure right throughout, was very focused, mature interviews from him as well. But just something sublime from a Jamaican perspective where, you know, coming to the Olympics generally as a Jamaican, the expectation is that Jamaica are going to overload in the track events, not necessarily the field that hasn't got the same level of attention. But it's great to see that as the years have gone by, not only are Jamaica getting medals or the Caribbean getting medals in these events, but we are getting multiple persons into finals, multiple persons threatening the world's top athletes in the field. And I think that's great. Stoner, just the first, hopefully, of many in the discus to transcend things. And yeah, Ryan Krauser, one of, well, the best shot putter in the world right now, Ryan Krauser. And I mean, after winning his gold medal, to see him celebrate the victory of his student, the Jamaican there, was magnificent. But yeah, this came out of nowhere, but it just shows that you go to the Olympic Games, and if you have the right focus, the right mentality, and you've put in the work, that you can reap great rewards. And this was one of the highlights for the Caribbean. I know
a great performance by Stoner, but he hinted time and time again, even when he entered into the arena, suggesting to us the NFL ball. But could this be the last time we see Roger Stoner at this level, meaning an Olympic Games? He may move on to World Championships, etc. But risk reward we're talking about here. The risk of that his body may get injured at the NFL, but the reward is much greater.
I don't know about the reward being much greater, you know, because he's not a quarterback. He's going to be a linebacker, safety or something. And if you come, the competition for NFL with some of the greatest athletes who have that tradition, NFL is not easy, you know. Don't get confused. The average career in NFL might be 3.5 years, and men who ain't so good only make a 300, 400,000, and when USA take 32% tax on that, you are not new eating McDonald's. So, brother man, throw your discuss. Watch your video, because that throw you have to replicate, and that ain't easy, because it was as close to perfection as anyone could do. The spin, the aggression, the attitude, the release, the angle, the exhalation on point. To go 70, if you don't study that tape, we might be talking here in 12 years, God willing, we stay healthy, and you might never reach 68. So focus, you and Krauser, study that tape, understand what you did, why you did, take notes about what you ate, how you felt, what was your attitude before you went into that circle, because that is a dream, but you must replicate your dream to continue to do what your coach, Krauser, did 3 gold medals in 3 Olympics. That is what you want to see. That is greatness.
Jehu, Lafon doing exceptionally well as well, speaking properly, representing the Caribbean, representing her country, and schooling some of the international journalists on how it should be done and how she should be addressed.
The writing is the writing, to be honest.
Sure.
She's somebody who would have came in here with some expectation. She won the World Indoor Championships back in Birmingham earlier in the year. So to come out here and really seal the deal, putting the icing on the cake, to me, she said it in her interview after the game. The conditions were not the best. Her coach told her to go out and put a really good mark down. And to me, she has a really interesting technique, because as she sped up approaching the board, the neck went back, which, as you see there, the neck kind of went up in the air compared to staying forward and looking down the track. Hey, she went with faith, she delivered, and boy, oh boy, that first jump, the first mark, putting the rest of the field under pressure, to me, Tia Lafond, one of my performances of these games.
Chris?
Yeah, and 30 years of age, so she's been around for some time, lots of experience, and as you said, more and more, Anil spoke about it, we're seeing athletes get to that before, I mean, years before, you might have seen many athletes retiring at that age. Now, athletes getting to 30 and finding peak form. Great to see. So, yeah, I mean, let me tell you, one of the great stories for me of this Olympics is how, as a cricket man, I'll have to say the Windward Islands have turned up. I mean, so many times we have been very reliant in the Caribbean from the likes of Trinidad and Tobago and Jamaica in terms of dominating the medals and so on. But it was great to see St. Lucia, Dominica, Grenada getting up on that podium, getting into the top 10 in terms of the medals, and the Windward Islands really turning up in a big way. And, you know, just to think, I mean, we interviewed both prime ministers, and to hear how the people of both those countries, Dominica and St. Lucia, were behind their athletes, national holidays, places being named, it shows what it means to them as a people. The respect that they have given, we've seen what they have done for Kirani James over this part of his career. And, you know, we hope that from a Caribbean perspective, we continue to grow, not necessarily reliant on one or two countries, but spread this across the leewards, the windwards, and the other major
you made a great,
well.
You made a great point, Sachin. Taylor Font, them boys just talk about the brilliance of the gold medal for Dominica. But her sitting down in front of the world media and letting them know, pronounce my country name, this is my country, this is where we are, understand who we are, and all you, fire burn all you for not learning and preparing to come to a press conference to talk to us. It reminded me about 2001 in the World Championships. Swimming, there are 200 countries, and the big countries, they came down, the big organizers. Now, as a coach, I had to be manager, massage therapist, so I went to the management meeting. And do you know, the FINA, the official body for swimming, came down with a list of where coaches could sit. They only had selective seating on the pool deck. Every coach want to be on the pool deck, J.U. You want to see, you want a time. And they said, the only teams allowed to sit in the limited seating down on the deck were teams of more than 20. Well, this Trini with the big mouth ball head stand up and say, excuse me, is this the World Championships or is this the championships with teams of more than 20? Mr. Lesky from USA said, no, it's the World Championship. I said, well, take this nonsense, throw it away, and let every single country that have an athlete here, the coach must sit down there at some point. And since that time, until now, Olympics, World Championship, every coach of every country gets to sit there at a specified time. Thea Lafont reminded me of that when she put the media in their place and let them know who Dominica is, where she come from, and how she take the goal. She was brilliant.
I just wanted to ask him if he was sure he was bald in 2004.
Yeah. I went bald about 2000. No, that was 2001. No, I still had a fro. Yeah. You're right.
Also in this event, the Caribbean won too. Second was Sharika Ricketts of Jamaica.
No, she has done well. She's been
Shanika Ricketts,
consistent right throughout. Second in the world this year. So she was expected to make. Well, both herself and Lafont were in the top 5 in terms of triple jumpers. Lafont, I think, was ranked 3rd, Ricketts 2nd. And Ricketts has played second fiddle to Rojas over the course of her career. But Rojas being out due to injury was a big opportunity for all of the Caribbean, really. And to see that 2 of the Caribbean sweethearts would have made most of it, I think that was a big deal. Ricketts has, rewarded for her consistency over time. She's medaled, she's done well in World Championships and so on before, in Commonwealth and so on. And great to see her on the Olympic stage executing the silver. And as I said, from a Caribbean perspective, to get 1-2, massive.
Huge indeed. We're going to take a short break, folks, and come back with our recap of the Paris 2024 Games. Stay with us.
Sponsorship of this broadcast brought to you by
It's the Paris Games, darling. Everything needs to be perfect. Sneakers and spikes?
Check.
Her looks?
Check.
Okay, team. Seems like we pulled this off in record time. So, I just want to know, where's the water? Thanks, but I mean, the cases of water. So she can stay hydrated for the games? Where's the water?
I didn't think she was taking water with her to Paris.
water team send the cases ahead, so if you're good, then I'm officially ready for Paris.
Life come with plenty tough decisions. But you know what not hard? Deciding which flavors to get on your amazing 4 pizza. Pepperoni, Hawaiian, chicken chunks, vegetarian. There's no pressure with Pizza Hut's amazing 4. You get 4 juicy flavors with 1 less choice to make. Pizza Hut, now that's delivery.
In the heart of Kingston's business mecca is a 17-story gem. The Jamaica Pegasus Hotel offers luxury to all our visitors for business or leisure. Relax in one of our many deluxe suites with mountain or pool views. Savor the array of culinary delights in our Blue Window restaurant. Enjoy complimentary breakfast or visit our 24/7 cafe. We boast 9 extensive conference facilities for your meetings and banquets. We look forward to welcoming you soon at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel.
In a world where our dreams sometimes seem so far away, Digicel is the partner that brings us all together. One side, one goal. One Digicel. One Jamaica.
Absolutely incredible performance.
Be terrified by the line that went on forever, where one man is trapped in a never-ending car insurance payment line.
Wow, that sounds like a nightmare.
Right?
So why not skip the horror story and choose BCIC for all your car insurance needs?
You can go online and get a quote in less than 5 minutes. Or you can buy a policy in less than 10 minutes.
Plus payment options and so much more designed especially for you. BCIC, rethink insurance.
It's the Paris Games, darling. Everything needs to be perfect. Sneakers and spikes?
Check.
Her looks?
Check.
Okay, team. Seems like we pulled this off in record time. So, I just want to know, where's the water? Thanks, but I mean the cases of water. So she can stay hydrated for the games? Where's the water?
I didn't think she was taking water with her to Paris.
The water team send the cases ahead, so if you're good, then I'm officially ready for Paris.
We are back with We Paddy Prime. From the beginning of Paris 2024, they were faced with organizational issues, from the Seine River, the pollution, to the athletes struggling in the heat and more. So the question now is, friends, how would you grade the Paris organizers? First up, J. Hugh Gordon. The Seine River, a big discussion point, spending 1.3 billion euros to have a cleaning of the river in a 2-year space of time after not having swimming since the last Olympics in 1924.
So, as an athlete going in, I will always try to have a more positive outlook. There's always stuff that is going on behind the scenes, and once the entire contingent, for example, all the other competitors are faced with stuff that we have no control over, we try, the psychologists try to not let our minds worry or focus too much on that. So in this instance, obviously, no athlete will be at a disadvantage for the mere fact that obviously some athletes will be able to train and the others will not be able to train. But everybody was not able to train. So in this instance, I don't see it as a big deal. They would have found some alternative. I probably would have been to the pool, to the beach somewhere to get some kind of easy strides in or repeat workouts in. Overall, I will give it a 7.5 out of 10.
So this segment, we're going to call it hit or miss. Hit or miss, you think? With the Seine River discussion?
With the Seine River?
Yeah.
Well, obviously, I'd have to say it's a miss.
Okay. Chris, what about you? Hit or miss?
No, certainly a miss. I thought the Seine River was one of the lowest points of the Paris Olympics. I think it was poor in terms of how the organizers arranged they should have had options. They had no plan B or plan C. Obviously, not swimming in a river for 100 years, there's a reason behind that, because all the things that lie along that river. So obviously it is used, for want of a better word, as a sewage pot. And I think to have athletes in there, what I'll say from Jehu's perspective is, as an athlete, of course, you come to the Olympics, nothing is going to stop you. You are going to perform whether you're sick or not. So the athletes, I can understand them, but I'm talking from the organizing perspective, they needed to have done a lot better. And it wasn't up to scratch, and so we have seen many teams having to pull out in the marathon swimming. We have seen persons get sick. Up to this morning, there were athletes who are still getting sick from their encounters with the Seine River. So that was a sore point, I think, for this year's Olympics.
Anil, we mentioned the Seine River. I'm sure you're going to say miss with that point as well.
Correct.
We discussed that heavily. Yeah. What other miss you would say occurred during the Paris 2024 Games?
Well, I'll give them the plus first. And Donald Oliver, if you think, my brother, security that save your life is annoying, how you would have feel if you blow up and Peter you was so and so. So I want to say to the French authorities and to the Olympic, the committee, the Paris organizing committee, after that arson attack, we spoke about it. We said there was going to be annoyance coming. Yep. There had to be increases in security. And for the Olympic Organizing Committee of Paris 2024 to implement a strategic plan to keep everyone safe and there were no more incidents, that deserves the highest level of respect and applause. So well done to Paris, well done to France with that, for keeping all we people safe.
So the Seine River, miss, security, hit. What next?
Well, the opening ceremony a big miss because the IOC says don't send no political message, but they send me all kind of message, subliminal and otherwise, attacking religion. They told fellas on a surfboard, take off Jesus off the board and so on. But then they give me a whole message that confused me, get me frightened and make me want to switch off the opening ceremony. It was distasteful. It goes against the IOC position of no politics, of being just unifying. That was a total miss in the opening ceremony. But it came to a hit in the closing ceremony because they remember what it's about. Entertainment. It was brilliant. It brought the athletes together. The concert, the music, even though they had some audio problems. And then handover to LA was just magnificent. So a hit in the beginning. I mean, a miss in the beginning, but they miss bad. But tell me all kind of things that confuse me about how much are we it have it, a man, woman in between. I not on that. God make how we make. So that was horrendous. But the finish, the closing ceremony was a definite hit, JP.
Yeah, but we saw the Red Hot Chili Peppers. We saw
we saw
Billie Eilish.
We saw Snoop Dogg.
But LA, let me just tell you. It was tours for Red Hot Chili Peppers,
Moonwalk. Flea was mashing up. Let me tell you something. Yeah, but
get wired for them.
One thing you could say about Americans, they put planning. When we talk coaching and we see athletes failing and they plan to fail, we know that a plan is very important. The Americans, when we saw early on Tom Cruise, what he doing watching football, what Tom Cruise was doing watching badminton, and I said, but what is it?
It was subliminal hints.
It was hints. These Americans are so brilliant. They put him there. What Snoop Dogg doing going all around, running on the track and thing. They came and they were preparing to get you excited for LA 28. And then the Mission Impossible man jump in the Stade de France, ride out with a plane,
C5 Galaxy,
gone up on a plane, come back down, and then it's Red Hot Chili Peppers. They are by Billie Eilish, by the billionaire, billionaire Dr. Dre, LA, Americans. I don't know who will be all your president November 5th, Kamala or Trump. But all you do is
start to stop the amount of zeros.
Billion, my Dre, Dr. Dre.
So if you were to give Paris 2024 a rating, let's say 0 to 10, where 10 being the highest, what would you give the rating?
If we're considering all that they had to go through, the arson attacks, the biggest Olympics, I would say I would give them an 8.5 or 9, because what was exceptional was every sport, there were crowds pack up. Whether it's 3x3 basketball, big basketball, volleyball, skateboarding, break dancing and all that, about 12,000 people. Beach volleyball, swimming, pack out, track and field, pack out. 70,000 people waiting to see Duplantis break a world record for crowd and knowledge of sport. Greco-German wrestling had crowd. It was fantastic.
Leon Marchand.
Oh, Leon Marchand. Well, he is by himself.
Male MVP together with Summer from Canada. I would say our female MVP.
McIntosh. Yeah, Summer McIntosh.
Brilliant.
Well, Julian Alfred is my MVP female, right? But Marchand,
Juju.
My Juju. Oh, Lord.
No, Jehu, you're the only Olympic athlete we have on our set currently. Earlier, during the swimming segment, we had Janelle Atkinson. Thank her as well. We thank her as well for being part of the show. But Jehu, the issue of no air conditioning as part of the entire Olympic village system, not having that Olympic air conditioning, that has to be a big miss for me.
A miss.
Now, I understand why they did it. And I know for a fact, based on what Alex Jordan told us, it's a culture to not have air conditioning in France. But what do you think? An accommodation could have been made?
Correct.
I believe, obviously, they could have done that also, but the chef de missions for the respective countries could have taken initiatives, because this is not something that they would have only just found out. So, for me, it is not a miss for me in this instance. All you needed to do was to buy a couple fans for your team or get some cooling agents. We know that recovery is a big important factor at that time, so it could have been tough getting a proper night dress, getting the body to hit the specific cooling temperatures. So it is really not a miss for me. The chef de missions had to take initiative at that point to ensure that their teams were most comfortable.
Why?
That is such
you're disappointed by that situation.
For me, it's a 6.5, maybe 7.
I don't know how much you gave. 8?
8.5.
Overall, but if you're talking specific air condition, I can't sleep without air condition, so they get a 0.
We had to understand culture too. We have to understand culture.
Yeah, but for a month, at least have to be comfortable to perform at peak level.
J.U. Gordon made the most pertinent point. Chef de mission, they go and they visit the venue, they have full information well in advance, 6 months before, 3 months before, 2 months before, a month before. If you know it are no AC, all your chefs have to be mad to not organize AC for your athletes. Serious.
Or some personal fans, not necessarily air conditions.
Well, there were fans. Maybe they could have had some
it was pretty obvious, though, that from a communication perspective and all of that, it was below standard. Logistics needed a lot of work. I would agree with Anil that security in a major event is massive. You can't underestimate or understate the importance of that. So I think that from that perspective, top marks for them. In terms of population and support and stands and biggest stadium and all of those things, excellent. Great to see people from around the world come in to the Olympics to support in that way. However, logistically, I think, as you say, with the issues with the Seine, they had theft issues at some points, they had major food issues and so on. So the logistics of it all, the athletes being comfortable in their village, not being able, those things are real disruptors, I think, in a major championship.
So how would you give the overall rating? Anil said 8.5.
I said 7.
7. Jehu.
No, I'm just alluding to the fact that think about the magnitude of these games, the amount of persons that have to be accommodated for in these. We cannot expect everything to be perfect.
We learned today that over 40,000 volunteers were part of this event.
So in this instance, when we hear 1, 2, 3, maybe let's just say 10 stories for the entire duration of the games, you really want us to come down that critical of the organizers. So in this instance, I would say we can't mark them too hard. Anil mentioned the fact that obviously security purposes, we had outside of the arson attacks, we heard nothing at that point. I remember we hosted the Commonwealth Games in Trinidad and Tobago last year, and there was a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. Every day as the chef de mission, we get up at 5:30 for 6 o'clock meetings, and every day communication has to go out. It is not to say the communication is not there. I guess if the chef de mission or the manager, whoever it is responsible for putting the communication and the information out there, is not doing their job effectively, then that is where we would see all these things happening. So hey, a lot goes on behind the scenes, but I can tell you the athletes in most instances will be satisfied with the overall production of the games.
Out of 10?
I'm staying with my 7.5.
All right, so we have 8.5, we have 7. And we have...
But I grade the easiest part. And we had a shallow pool, you know. Then it was swimming,
well,
and I still get
you have a vacation happening in Paris soon, so you want to make sure you accept it.
Let's take a...
I go in Dominica and St. Lucia, boy.
Let's take our final look at the medal table at the end of it. From my research, I think the USA tied with China. Well, that's the athletics first. Here we have USA on top of things with 14 gold medals. Yeah, and 34 in total for them. Kenya, second position with 4 gold medals. Fantastic. Mainly due to those middle to long distance runners. Canada, third with 3 gold and 5 in total. The Netherlands taking 4th spot with 2 gold and 6 in total. And Spain closing up the top 5 with 2 gold and 4 in total. Jamaica in the top 10 rankings as well. Their gold medal, 3 silver and 2 bronze for them.
Don't call number 7, man. Don't call number 7.
Highest Caribbean country in the athletics rating. All right.
Number 8.
So that's look at page number 2 as well. Grenada, position number 36 with their 2 medals. Dominica with their gold, and of course St. Lucia with 2 in total. Juju, as she's fondly called now, with her gold and her silver as well. So that's a final look at the athletics table at the end of Paris 2024. Let's take a glance at the overall standings. Here we go. USA and China, neck and neck, 40-40. But the USA, the only team to cross the century mark, closing off their campaign with 126 medals in total. China, 91. Japan with 20 gold and 45 in total. Australia in position number 4 with 18 gold and 53 medals in total. And France, the host nation, yes, 16 gold and 64 medals in total. Très bien to the France, and très bien to the organizing committee there as well. Job well done to France, starting off with a bit of a shaky nature there, gentlemen, but finishing off with a bang. Chris, surprise, surprise, China on top of things with the USA.
Yeah, no surprise. We spoke we spoke about the diversity of the Chinese, and coming into that final day, I think the USA getting back on equal terms, winning the women's basketball contest, which was really an exciting one to close the games. But yeah, great work from the Chinese. As I said, their diversity over the different sporting disciplines has been something to see. The Japanese stepping up big time as well. So good to see nations that were not necessarily strong in certain areas are doing work there, doing groundwork, and that is credit to their sporting associations. We see from a small extent in the Caribbean, as we said, now the Windward Islands getting on the middle table, which means work is being done behind the scenes, and that's what you want to see. It's not where you are. It's not where you are now, it's where you're going. It's where you're going to end. So as you said with France, they started in a shaky way, but they ended on a good note. And you're as good as your last performance. So credit to the French for tipping it off in the of ending things in the right way and putting the baton.
J-Hugh, any closing comments from you? Chris made his.
I'll share the same sentiments as Chris. It's really good to see the smaller islands, especially the Leeward Islands, chipping away against the strongholds of sports worldwide. So Dominica, St. Vincent and the Grenadines having their first 800-meter runner out there. Tia LaFond, exceptional performance following up on her indoor championships, and boy oh boy, Juju, I'm sure the entire world knows where St. Lucia and Tobago is located at this point in time. So unfortunately this time around Trinidad and Tobago was not able to produce to the standard that we've seen true legacies being portrayed over the years, but I'm sure...
Let's not forget Jareem though.
Obviously Jareem, the shining light and beacon for Trinidad and Tobago, but
national
you know, we're hoping that the prayers of the athletes, or the cries, might say, of of the athletes would fall on the right ears and initiatives would be taken. It is not solely reliant on an administration, but the country has to understand the role of sport. It is not recreational. We could see here how much millions and billions of dollars are spent in sports. So when we in the Caribbean believe that we could just go out and take a sweat and that is what it's all about, and only when it's time for the major competition we come out and support, we'll go 5 steps backwards while everybody's taking 10 and 15 steps forward.
Yeah, I think we've broken some serious ground by making several pleas and cries, and let's hope that it falls on the right ears. The lovable lunatic, you've gone viral on several occasions. It's either you love him or you hate him. It's no in between there, but on most occasions, we all love him. Anna Roberts, any closing comments for being part of this We Party Prime?
Once my 3 children love me and my girl love me, I good. But anyway, put that camera right here and let me tell all this something.
Make it short, sir, please.
No, not short. Only go long and don't cut me.
You have a minute.
Let me tell you something. To the people, the owners, the shareholders, the management of SportsMax, understand that I greatly appreciate the effort and the ability, even though I'm a part of it here, to tell our story for ourselves, to highlight the Caribbean athlete from start to finish, to all those who put this together, to give us the opportunity to show ourselves rather than take it from NBC, take it from USA, let them go to a McDonald's advertisement when we were marching in the opening ceremony, to tell the stories of our athletes, our coaches, our people. Each island, from Bermuda down to Trinidad and Tobago, SportsMax, enough respect. We need this. To all the sponsors who made it possible, we need more money. Send the money for SportsMax because we must be able to tell ourselves, see ourselves, to inspire future generations. That's 1 minute and 4 seconds. Bless.
That's Anna Roberts there, folks. We want to thank you, Anil. Thank you to Chris. Thank you to Jehu. Thank you to Janelle Atkinson joining us in the swimming side of things. And thank you very much to all our viewers for joining us. Thanks on behalf of the entire production team, our directors, our producers, our research team, the camera crew. Thank you very much for joining us. It's been a tremendous journey over the last 3 weeks. The team in Paris being part of this entire We Party Prime as well, doing all the social media updates as well. An entire team there. We thank you very much for being a successful journey from start to finish. And you, the viewers, we could not have done all of this without you. We hope you were satisfied. We hope you enjoyed the entertainment. We hope you enjoyed this entire production done for Paris 2024. Well, from our side to you, this is where we sign off. We Party Prime comes to an end. The curtain call, friends. This has been We Party Prime 2024. Au revoir. Thank you for watching. My name is Sachin Ramsubag, and I'll see you soon.
Ensemble, notre âme survit. Glorious, we rise above. In the gates of unity, we find our love, Nous aimons dans les jeux d'unité. Nous trouvons notre éclat. Courage, our hearts beat. De chaque nation nous venons pour rivaliser. Avec passion et courage, nos cœurs sont élevés. In the arena, we give our all. With grace and honor, we stand tall. Dans l'arène, nous donnons tout. Avec grâce et honneur, nous restons debout. Oh, Origine d'unité, nous trouvons notre éclat. Courage, our hearts beat. De chaque nation nous venons pour rivaliser. Avec passion et courage, nos cœurs sont élevés. In the arena, we give our all. With grace and honor, we stand tall. Dans l'arène, nous donnons tout. Avec grâce et honneur, nous restons debout.
Sponsorship of this broadcast brought to you by
Make your passion your profession. Take advantage of innovative training programs and services from the Heart NSTA Trust. We provide skills, literacy and numeracy training, job placement and recruitment services, entrepreneurship grant funding, and business development services. Whether you are an entrepreneur or you require training, we are here to assist you in elevating your personal and professional standing. Choose Heart and let's take you to the next level. Be smart. Choose Heart. Call 876-9900.